Welcome back, everyone.
What is up, you guys?
What's up, you guys?
Hey guys, welcome.
Welcome to VGRx, Video Game Pharmacy, your weekly dose of video game news and knowledge. And
Welcome to another episode of VGRx, your weekly dose of video game knowledge, know-how, news, and anything else we decide we want to talk about that day.
Thanks for joining us again. Welcome to VGRx. This is your weekly dose of video game news and insight.
To Video Game Pharmacy, your weekly dose of video game news and banter.
The pharmacy is now open.
What is up, you guys? Welcome to another episode of VGRx, your weekly dose of video game news, knowledge, know-how, and sometimes questions.
Trivia.
Sorry.
Don't mess with the formula.
My bad.
Yeah, okay.
Well, you know how I do. Hello, I'm
Hey.
Scott. That was Brittin that you just heard.
Hey, guys.
my
And-
name's Dan.
And Dan is here as well. But guess who's not here?
Brooksy.
Wait
well,
for it.
He's not here either.
Killian.
I would say he's a guest, but I don't even
My-
like to think of him as that.
My buddy Casey.
Yeah, Casey's
He's
not
not here.
Yeah, Casey's not
Torsen.
We're good at this, Dan.
Torsen's pretty
Yeah.
good. Oh, Zach, it's Zach.
Oh, what?
Zach isn't here today.
Wait, Zach's not here?
No.
You know what I call Zach when he's not around?
What?
It's a good thing. He's the backbone.
Oh, I thought you meant like it's a good thing when he's not around.
That's not what I meant.
Yep, that's what I heard
No,
too.
Yeah.
The thing I call him is a good thing.
You're like it's a good thing.
He's the backbone of the show. We are going to be jellyfish today, is what I'm saying.
Are we?
I think so.
I think
We'll find
I
out.
already am jellyfish.
Oh,
Dan's
okay,
always
cool.
a jellyfish.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and we're going to find out real quick why we missed that, because we are going to miss our trivia section here at the beginning. But
Well,
we're not.
We're not.
We're kind of
Because-
are, but we're not.
Because Zach told me the answer. So
Wonderful.
Yes.
Good job
So
doing some research.
the answer. Well, the question was last week was, if you play, how long would it take you to beat all three of the main lights? So Kingdom Hearts 1, 2, and 3.
So I guess something absurdly high, as it turns out.
Yeah,
Like-
you guessed like
almost double, I think.
You said like 120 or something hours.
Yeah.
You were going completionist, probably.
I said 80,
Yeah.
and what did you say?
I think I said 85.
Okay.
Yep.
The answer that Zach gave me was 81.5 hours.
Yeah, buddy. So,
Uh,
you win
Yeah.
on that one.
I-
Okay,
based on
so
Zach's answer.
but I also did a little bit of research. Right?
Yes, because we also kind of just had like a bonus question, which was
Yeah.
how long
What
does
about
it take-
all the other games?
Yeah, all the
included?
games included.
So, what I got, we have Chain of Memories, Dream Drop Distance, Birth by Sleep,
Uh-huh.
358 over 2 days,
Yeah.
and then also Recoded, which was the mobile game, if I'm not mistaken.
So it's 5, and then the 3 main entries.
Right.
8
Recoded
games.
wasn't the mobile game. Recoded was, or the one that was the mobile game was the Chain X or whatever.
Was it? Okay.
It might have been a mobile game.
Oh
I
yeah,
don't
you're
know.
right. You're right.
Yeah.
I see now. So anyway, so my friend Claire, who's
Yes.
a huge Kingdom Hearts aficionado,
Obsessed. one would say.
now it should be noted that these are not like hard numbers. You'll probably be able to come up with a more accurate number if you go, find a specific way to measure.
It all
But,
depends on someone's playthrough.
Claire's estimates were 20 hours for Chain of Memories,
Uh-huh.
about 15 each for Dream Drop Distance and Birth by Sleep.
Okay, so 50.
In 358 over 2 days and Recoded, it depends on whether you play the game or watch the movies.
Game.
And yeah, so her estimate for Recoded was 15 and 358 was 20. And then
85.
Birth by Sleep 0.2, which is like 3 hours. So
Dan, you're confusing me.
that would put the total at either 146 hours if you do the movies, or 173 if you actually play every game. And this
Which
is,
I think is
this
closer
is
to
with
our
an
actual
estimate
question.
of this was an estimate of 85 hours for the first 3 games,
Yeah.
all told.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
And then also 2 hours for watching all the cutscenes from the mobile game.
Dan,
There was
you
also-
There's
asked,
more
so-
story.
There was also a movie that went along with the mobile
Right,
game.
but it turned out I have learned that the movie only covers like half of the mobile game,
Yeah.
and that the other half was also important.
I tried watching it. I absolutely couldn't do it. I got
Yeah.
so bored. I was just like, I hate every part of this. I was like, I enjoy Kingdom Hearts. Whew. I enjoy Kingdom Hearts for Kingdom Hearts, not because of the crazy story that goes along with it.
Yeah. So what's the
My
final
personal
tally
opinion.
there? Did you say like 175?
175. Yeah,
All right.
overall.
I think
I
I
think
said-
we all overshot that.
Yeah. I don't remember. I don't remember.
I was
where-
I was above 200 for the second guess.
It's just so many games.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Well, you
I
were
think I
close
was
enough
too.
then. I don't even remember what my answer was. It doesn't matter.
That's fun.
But hey, you want to know what does matter?
What?
Beating video games, which I did.
Did you beat
I
Kingdom Hearts
finally
3?
beat Kingdom Hearts 3.
Whoa, man.
It didn't take me too much longer after we talked about it last
Yeah.
week. But
So can you give us some very general overall impressions of that game?
amazing.
You loved
I
it?
loved it. I absolutely
Okay.
adored the game.
If we're just looking at 1, 2, and 3, where in terms of quality, where do you place 3?
Man.
Can you just rank those 3 as in terms of your favorites? That's a tough question.
That is
I just dropped that.
That is
on you,
a
man.
really
I'm sorry.
tough question because
Think about it.
I have recently just played all 3, or I played 1 and 2 before I played 3. 1 I can tell you is my least favorite.
It's the gummy ship. I know it's terrible.
No, it had nothing to do
Hate
with the gummy
that thing.
ship. It had to do with everything else.
Yeah,
I hated almost everything about
it's
it.
pretty mashy.
Yeah.
The combat is just smash that button, smash
Yeah.
that X button.
I really enjoyed 2 because it gave you a lot more options and like the whole reaction command.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a lot of people said you could literally just hit triangle for everything and then mash X a bunch.
Yep,
Oof.
that's the only one I've beat, and I mean, overall, I think I remembered it fondly, but I'd never go back and play it again.
So far I haven't found all the secret bosses yet in 3. So I think I'm gonna put 2 above 3.
Okay,
Just because you're able to fight every member of Organization 13, and that's really dope.
okay.
So
So 2 is your favorite.
I'm gonna
Still.
put 2 as my favorite just because I haven't found all the secret bosses yet.
Did
in
it
3,
bug
but-
you not playing as Sora at the beginning?
No, I loved Roxas.
Okay.
I absolutely
That's
loved
pretty
Roxas
brief,
as a
right?
character. What is your?
5 hours or something.
It was 3 hours.
You get back to Sora pretty quickly, right?
3 hours. Yeah.
Okay. This
'Cause
isn't like a Metal Gear Solid 2 thing
No.
where the entire game is a different character.
You could skip all the cutscenes, which I did, and it took me about maybe I don't know, an hour,
Okay.
hour and a half.
I found that really off-putting for some reason when I started too, and it's part of the reason I veered away from it pretty
Really?
quickly. Yeah,
Oh,
bothered me.
I loved Roxas as a character. I think it really did a good job of setting up the whole story of
All right.
basically. Well, it wasn't setting up a story because we kind of already knew, but
Yeah.
I really enjoyed Roxas as a character.
Also, at the
Yeah.
end of 1, spoilers. Can I
Yeah.
get a little spoilery with Kingdom Hearts 1?
Spoiler alert now for a
Spoiler
2002 game. Yes.
At the end of 1, Mickey shows up.
Yeah.
And it's exciting. And
In
you're
the
like,
Door of
wow, this
Darkness.
is going to be interesting. And
Yeah.
then 2 starts and no sign of Mickey again for a
Wh-
while.
It's like in the very beginning
Oh,
when,
really?
when he shows
Did I
up.
misremember that?
Right
I was
after
gonna say I don't think I actually finished Kingdom Hearts 1, but I
Yeah.
watched a friend of mine play some Kingdom Hearts 2, and I remember
Yeah.
seeing Mickey.
Yeah, right after the whole Roxas thing,
Maybe
you
I
become
just
Sora.
Maybe I quit really early
yeah,
in that game.
because right when you become Sora, you essentially meet up with Mickey.
Oh,
very
okay.
very soon after that.
Gotcha. Huh.
So
All right.
hey, do you want to borrow
So-
the game?
I don't know.
Yeah, probably not.
Maybe. Well, I might
I-
bug you. My kids would love to watch it. I'm sure.
So
I'll play it for him.
I may be under the wrong impression, but I believe Kevin from work
Yeah.
is playing Kingdom Hearts 3,
That sounds right.
not having played any other Kingdom Hearts game ever.
I love that man.
You know,
for him.
he seems to be enjoying himself. He said he was having a good time with it.
we needed that perspective. I'm glad to hear it.
I'll-
Actually.
I'll tell you what, they did a really good job of kind of summarizing a lot of the story in the beginning of the game.
So if like having story details isn't important to you, then you're saying that it's not even a big deal at all.
Nope.
Okay.
Cool.
You,
Good to know.
if you just go in and don't care about the story, you will still have a great time.
Okay.
And it still does a pretty good job of basically weaving it all together.
Yeah. Cool.
So
I might take you up on that at some point.
yeah, you should.
Cool.
It's fun.
All right.
It's beautiful.
Are you going to
honestly.
jump into the online multiplayer, battle royale mode, deathmatch, any of that?
Are you talking about Apex Legends?
No.
Oh.
I was just making a dumb joke.
Oh, sorry.
Because every game
Sorry,
has
Dan.
multiplayer
EA.
these days.
Yeah.
No,
There's none in Kingdom Hearts.
No, there is not.
Just to clarify.
I think there's going to be DLC, but we don't know yet.
Yeah. That'd
I-
be cool. There should be.
I loved all the worlds.
Yeah.
If you talk to Brooks, I haven't talked to Brooks about it yet, but
Yeah.
I have heard that he is on the opposite spectrum of me. He didn't absolutely love it like I did.
Mm-hmm.
He liked it, but
He told
Yeah,
me that,
and-
and he said, "Don't tell Scott. I need to have this
Yeah.
conversation with
Yeah.
him myself."
And Claire said something similar.
Yeah.
And in both cases, it sounds like neither of them think that it was like a bad entry.
no,
It wasn't
what they wanted.
It wasn't the level of entry that they were hoping for it being the end of an arc.
Ugh,
You know?
it was perfect for me. It satisfied every single tingle.
It satisfied your tingles.
Ever
I think what
since
Brooksy
it's a
said
heck of
is
a review.
that Kingdom Hearts 2 is his favorite.
Yeah.
Which I think is typical
Sounds
for,
like a
for
consensus.
Kingdom Hearts fans.
Mhm.
2's really good. Really, really good. So
Cool.
Yep.
Talk
Hey,
more about that game later. I've been playing some games.
I was gonna say, what have you been playing, Brittin?
You guys got a second?
Sure.
No.
Dan?
Okay.
Clear your schedule.
Dang.
So I went back to I think it was a launch game for Switch that I played very briefly back at launch and then just kind of drifted away from. Never
1-2
went back
Switch?
to. It's not that.
Hey, 1-2
I actually
Switch was
never-
fun.
I never
Yeah.
played that.
Ooh, yikes.
Ice Cube Simulator.
Yeah, the Ice Cube
No.
Simulator.
I'll see if someone around still has that.
It'd be
And
fun to
bring it
play
around.
just for
Yeah.
the heck of it.
I'm
Yeah.
sure you could.
Because it's like Wii Sports or some of the other
Yeah.
kind of like.
It wasn't worth
variety packs.
$60.
No, but if you have it,
Yeah.
And it's sure not $60 anymore.
When I was at the launch for the Switch, I bought it and immediately returned it. I was like, why did I buy this game that should be like included with the Switch?
Yeah.
Anyway, that's
It
besides
should
the
have been
point.
the backing game.
That's besides the point.
I've been playing Puyo Puyo Tetris. Have you guys tried that game?
No, but I know exactly what it is.
I
you know what
remember you
Tetris
getting
is?
really excited about
It's-
it.
Yeah, I was pumped when it came out.
Puyo Tetris is literally just Tetris with Puyo characters in it.
No.
Yes.
Do you know what Puyo Puyo is?
It's like
It's
a Japanese version of Tetris.
It's another entirely different puzzle game. Puyo Puyo.
Hey,
is,
Tetris is a Russian game, Dan.
true.
Don't laugh
No,
at me.
you know what? I know that.
and there is a bunch of anime. in
And
this
like
game, too.
I didn't realize that until later
Yeah.
because of get this, because of a Japanese ska band
Yeah.
that covered the theme from Tetris in one of their songs, and it was through that I discovered it was a Russian folk song.
Yeah. It was not a Japanese game.
Wow.
It-
That could have been our trivia question.
Honestly,
Missed opportunity.
I know. People didn't know that. A lot of people don't know that
I
it's
mean,
a Russian
in the
game.
credits for the original game on NES, it said "From Russia with Love."
Yeah,
So,
but
actually, no, that was on the title screen. Actually,
Think
if
about-
I'm not mistaken.
Isn't that a James Bond movie?
Probably, yeah, and that's probably why they said
think
it.
about how many
Anyway,
Tetris games.
you guys are
come
trying
out.
so hard to derail me.
I'm sorry.
Can I talk
just-
about the dang game?
I just want to talk about Tetris.
I'll get to Tetris. I want to talk about Puyo Puyo.
Okay,
first.
hit me with the Puyo Puyo.
Funny enough, Puyo Puyo is the reason I kind of this game didn't click with me right off the bat because
Yeah.
it's very different. It's more of a match color games than it is a clear lines game like Tetris is. And the fact that they're both there and they're kind of dramatically different games, you have to learn how to play both well if you want to play the game because the main mode is a mashup of the two. So you can't play the main mode of the game unless you understand Puyo Puyo and you understand Tetris. And I played a bunch of it right when it came out, mainly Puyo Puyo because I'm already pretty good at Tetris. And I just couldn't wrap my head around it. I was getting destroyed, not only by players online, but by the AI. And I'm like, what am I doing wrong? I cannot figure out how to make these big combos, these big chains that are dropping tons and tons of blocks on the other guy. And I realized that if I went back and went through the tutorials that are a part of the game in the menus, that you learn a lot of what you need to know to get more proficient with the combos, with the chains.
The love-hate relationship I have with tutorials
Yeah.
that way.
Well, it's not like they're really massive tutorials that take a long time to go through. I just didn't take the time to go through them
yeah.
and look at them.
That's
And
fair.
it completely changes your perception of the game. So suddenly I'm doing like 5 and 6 chain combos and dropping massive blocks on my enemies, and the game is way more fun. So I could see myself playing it quite a bit this time. I haven't got back to the mashup mode that combines the two because that's almost like learning a third game because they integrate it in a pretty
Yeah.
bizarre way. So your brain has to think on the fly creatively about 2 different games, kind of 3 different games at the same time when you get deep into that game. And people are good, obviously, at this point. They've
Isn't
been
like
playing a lot of it.
Dr. Mario is essentially the same thing.
It's similar to Dr.
You
Mario.
match 2 colors. Well, you get like a pellet basically.
You have to match 4.
Yeah.
But then after a section disappears, the blocks on top drop, and those can make other things disappear.
Yeah.
So the idea is to set up these massive chains and then push the first domino that makes them all go into effect. But while you're setting it up, if your competitor is dropping blocks on you, you lose your windows to drop the blocks in that you need, and then you can't activate your chain. So you're walking this balance of setting up the chains and activating them at the right time, because if you get too greedy and try to set up too much in advance, you're going to get buried.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've played.
devious.
I've played like versus Tetris games before.
Yeah.
Where like when you get blocks, it gets sent to the guy on the next screen, and there'll be like 6 people that are all playing, and
It's great.
basically it's in a little circle, right? And if you are trying to set up a couple really big drops at the same time, set up like 8 rows worth with just the single
Oh, yeah.
row on the side, and then just kind of put blocks on the top until you have two of the 4 long blocks in a row.
Yeah.
And then drop 8 rows on them all at once. Like
Yep.
that works until the guy behind you does the same thing to you while you have this giant stack, and then boom.
Pushes you up to the top.
Yeah.
Yep. That's the gambit that you're gambling on. Yeah, it's
The
great.
gambit.
So
you're
it's that,
gambling
but
on.
Gambling gambit.
It's that,
Right.
but also Puyo
Yeah, which
at the same time.
the fusion still confuses me. I need to spend
Yeah.
some time with the tutorials that are specifically about the combo. But I'll get to that. I still need to refine my Puyo skills a bit. I'll play you guys at Tetris anytime though. I'll school you.
I'll wreck
fools.
you.
Yeah.
Hey Dan.
Wait, one other thing really quick. This
No.
one will be fast, I think.
No.
I'm also playing Octodad Dadliest
Oh my
Sketch.
god.
Because it was on sale on the eShop, and I've seen Let's Plays, and it looks
Yeah.
ridiculous. I never actually played it myself. It's a blast. It's so dumb, but I can play it with the kids. They love watching it, and all the dumb stuff that happens, all the
Yeah.
dumb stuff that this crazy Octodad does. The whole family just erupts in laughter. It's a blast.
Speaking of games that are kind of dumb in some ways,
Yeah.
I spent a few days last week playing Kerbal Space Program
Oh yeah.
Oh
for the
my
first time in a long
God.
time.
Yeah.
And like the last time I played, I remember doing some cool stuff and also some amusing things. So the last time I played, the career mode had just been introduced. So this is a while back. And I remember I successfully got someone up into orbit and then ran out of gas. So I couldn't get them back down from orbit. So they were stuck there. And I was like, shoot, I've made a mistake. Well, okay. I'll make a bigger rocket that has more fuel so that then when I get there, I can get them down. Well, then I accidentally escaped the orbit of Kerbal altogether. And so then I had a guy orbiting the sun,
Dan.
Nice.
which was, that was a mistake. It's so like that was the last time I played. So this time I was playing around again, and the tutorials are better and all of that. And so I had to go back through and kind of relearn how to do a lot of the things.
This is just a rocket building game, right? I've never really played
It's
it.
a little more
Yes.
complex than that, actually.
So the way that it was when I originally discovered it was, I mean, you built a rocket and you went to the moon or wherever. And like, that was the thing. I believe I did once manage to get to the moon and land and then get back.
All right. Is that
I
like
have
the
not
ult-
figured out how to do that again yet.
Is that the goal of the game, or is it just kind of a simulation?
So it was a simulation initially, and then
Oh, okay.
they introduced a career mode, and now the career mode is significantly more fleshed out. So there's like a tech tree, and there's a you have to keep track of your finances, and there are contracts that you can take to get extra money, and of course when you're researching, you have to get science somehow, and you do that by like bringing science experiments to space and messing around with them,
Cool.
essentially. So it's been fun that way. I have, in the course of a tutorial, I did get a rocket into orbit and then brought it back down. I haven't done that in the career mode yet because I have not unlocked the what is it? The SES. This I think is stability control system, I think is what it is. But it basically because it is a simulation. When you are in space and you push your engines to push you or to rotate you, you won't stop until you give the exact opposite input somehow, which without a stability control assist you can't.
Right.
Because like how do you press down the left arrow key for the exact amount of time you pressed down the right arrow key just a moment ago? It's impossible.
I saw Sandra Bullock do that in space with a fire extinguisher.
Yeah,
So she could do it. I think you could do it.
that's true. But I haven't practiced enough. So.
Sorry, it was a Gravity reference.
Man, you're so funny.
It's a silly movie.
You're
that was ridiculous.
So I've been
Sorry.
funny.
I've been playing some Kerbal Space Program. That's been fun. I've been getting back into League. They have a really interesting new way of handling ranked
Let's
than
play
they have in the
when,
past.
when you get home.
You always say that, Scott. You never make good on it.
And then I've been
Wow.
Sorry.
like neck deep in Pokemon Draft League stuff because my second league started back up for its 6th season,
Dang.
and so
How much of that time? How much of your time does that take up? This Pokemon stuff.
So there's one battle a week,
Mm-hmm.
and then I spend time prepping for that battle, and the prep time last season for both of these leagues, my prep time was mostly like researching what each Pokemon did when I was up against them, and that could take quite a while. Like I could spend hours and hours on it. This time around, I'm much more generally familiar with what I expect a Pokemon to do. And then I've also been making practice teams and then practicing them against other practice teams from the opponent. Like I'll work with like Brooksy, and we'll create teams to go up against each other to kind of get a hands-on experience of what the Pokemon are like. And it's probably been about the same amount of time, but I'm much more successfully learning the things. And so it's probably a couple hours a week plus half an hour long battle.
Gotcha.
And it's not that the battle needs to be half an hour, but frequently, a turn will go, and then both people will like try and figure out, okay, what needs to happen.
They'll switch a
And,
Pokemon. It just
like
goes
there have
back
been
and forth.
times where I've spent like 5 minutes trying to figure out what to do, and then I finally I'm ready to go, and then I click, and this is on Pokemon Showdown, so like you can press cancel as long as the other person hasn't decided what their move is going to be yet.
Oh, okay.
And so I'll be like, okay, I need to decide something because I'm holding this up too long, and then I'll click, and then I'm still waiting because they haven't figured it out either.
Right.
And so then I'll hit cancel and then question my decision again and go over that. But
Gotcha.
Anyway, so I'm mid draft on the other one. I have no plan. I'm like most of the way through at this point. I think I have 3 or 4 picks left and just kind of feeling it out.
Do you guys
but-
build these seasons and brackets yourselves, or is it
Yeah.
like built into Showdown?
It's currently still very much individually handled. So there's a guy that put together a massive spreadsheet that it auto handles a lot of this stuff at this point. And that's usually what happens, is that someone will kind of take the initiative to make a big Google spreadsheet type of thing and then share it with everyone.
That's
so that
cool.
they can get
Okay.
that. So that's been, I guess, my other thing.
Sweet.
Cool.
So
It's fun.
Well,
man.
hey, I think we've talked enough about us. I think we should talk
No
about
way, never
a
enough.
little bit about the news.
Things happen. A few
That's
things
okay.
happen.
Yeah.
A few things did happen.
A trailer dropped for the new Civilization 6 expansion this week.
Yes, I'm so excited.
Gathering
for this.
Storm.
yeah.
And something that you asked is, before we even started recording, you're like, "Is this a big deal?" Like,
I have no frame of reference for
Yeah.
Civ.
So
Yeah.
Civilization, they have a pattern
yeah,
for every game since at least 4, maybe even 3, and possibly before then too. I was young enough I wasn't paying attention.
yeah,
They'll release their base game, and then they'll release an expansion pack that builds on that base game and introduces new subsystems, and then they'll do a second expansion pack. And that second expansion pack is typically like the complete experience, right? And it's one of those things where the second expansion pack often makes the game enjoyable enough to the extent that people who have been playing Civ for a long time won't even pick up the new game, or they won't play the new game as much until it has an expansion pack or two, because the previous game with its completed ecosystem is better, or
Sure.
that's the perception anyway. I remember going from Civ 4 to Civ 5. I did play both Civ 4 and Civ 5 for a while because there were some pretty big just like fundamental changes between those two, where Civ 4 you could stack units together on one tile, and in Civ 5 you couldn't, and that like dramatically changed how the entire tactical system of the game worked. So
They stole that from Fire Emblem. I'm just kidding.
I mean, maybe.
It's a recent addition to Fire Emblem 2, actually. So what did you watched the trailer, right? Or you got a summary
no,
of
but
it?
I've been keeping track of
What
stuff.
What have you gathered is new in this expansion?
Yeah, so let me find the overall list right here. So there are new civs. I believe there are nine new leaders and 8 new civilizations. There's Phoenicia, leader Dido. The Ottomans, leader Suleiman. Sweden has the leader Christina. Mali is Mansa Musa. It should be noted, all of these are historical figures too.
Sure.
So
Okay.
Inca has Pachacuti. Canada, which I believe is the first time Canada has been a civilization in Civilization.
Oh, okay, cool.
Wilfrid Laurier, or Laurier, I don't know. There's probably a better way to pronounce that.
Sure.
The Maori are back, Coupe. And Hungary with Matthias Corvinus. How many was that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so that's all the civs.
And then there's an emphasis.
There's a new leader too.
There's an emphasis on weather or
Yeah, so there's a few new subsystems too.
Okay.
First off, World Congress. It's a traditional feature in Civilization games. That's back. So it's something like the United Nations or League of Nations or whatever, that everyone comes together and they agree on, like, these are things that we should do. And they're typically like resolutions that give bonuses for doing some things and have penalties for doing other things. And, the world votes on that. So that would address things in today's world that, for instance, like nuclear weapons. Do we forbid the development of nuclear weapons? Do we forbid whaling or whatever? In the game, there are, like, one of the examples it gives is that sometimes, like, you might have a resolution that rewards people who are using jungle tiles in a certain way and penalizes people who are using them in other ways.
Okay.
Embargoes on certain resources can happen, stuff like that. And then with that, also the diplomatic victory is back, where essentially you can trigger a vote where you vote for who wins, essentially. And there are game mechanics that make that less than just a popularity contest, because obviously there are AI. And I don't have the details on how that's going to work this time around, but I know, like in Civ 5, if you had city-state, you had their vote. And I think that there were like treaty things you could have with other civilizations that would earn you the vote with them somehow if they were AI. I think if it was multiplayer, players always have control over their vote, but I could be wrong.
So if you built enough of those ties, then you could
Right.
you could initiate this vote and win the game that way.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
cool.
that's how a diplomatic victory works. So it's not just be the most likable guy, but like there are actual game mechanics that determine whether or not you can essentially secure that for yourself.
Okay, cool.
There's going to be natural disasters. So volcanoes, floods, and droughts are confirmed, as well as 4 different kinds of storm that will vary by environment.
Has this never
which will
happened
include
in Civ
hurricanes,
before?
blizzards, and sandstorms.
Oh, cool.
No.
No, not really. I remember in Civ 2, at least in the late game, they had like a global warming mechanic that I believe would occasionally change a tile. So like a grassland tile might change to desert or wasteland or something like that.
Right.
And I know nuclear weapons have always had some sort of effect on tiles they've been dropped on. So there's been like what amounts to game mechanics that have an effect on the map. But this game is having, it is implementing climate change as well. And that's going to play in with the natural disasters. So like floods and hurricanes, the likelihood of those happening will increase. If it gets very warm, the ice caps can melt, which can lead to rising sea levels, which is something that they had way back in Sid Meier's Alpha Centauri.
Oh, okay.
Which that predates me playing Sid Meier games.
Gotcha.
So there's let's see what else about that.
Sounds like a big expansion.
Yeah, it is. There's going to be a future era, which it sounds like they're going to have some specific future technologies that will have random placement in the tech tree in any given game, so that it can kind of change the end, since we don't actually know where we might get there.
Gotcha.
And then there's some other cool stuff. So like canals. That sounds like a very specific thing to get excited about, but I really like the idea of
Changes the way you
canals.
get around the map, right?
Yeah. So normally in a Civ game, you have to build a city so that it can touch 2 coasts to get naval units from one side to the other. Whereas in real life, we have the Panama Canal, right?
Yep.
So now you can actually build an improvement across multiple tiles to
Okay,
make
cool.
that happen. And then, just a ton of new units, wonders, that type of thing.
Okay. So it's going to retail for $39.99. It hits hold on
February
1 second.
10th, I believe.
And for anyone who's holding out, I think it's the 14th, actually.
It
That's
might be.
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
got. 14th.
Yeah.
For anyone who's holding out on Civ 6 until it's a complete game because all the packs are out, this is the time.
Is this probably the last one? Because this is the second expansion.
Typically, yeah.
Right.
I
Okay.
think Civ 5 had some map packs.
Yeah. I
But-
mean, they'll always come out with like new, like smaller things. So I know.
Civ 5 did specific. They had DLC for some leaders.
Yeah, and they do that in 6 as well.
But as far as like game functions go, this will be the complete game.
Cool. Okay. Piggybacking a little bit on the Civ talk, Take-Two recently took to Twitter and they expressed excitement about the future of the Switch based on how Civ 6 has been doing for them. They said it significantly exceeded their expectations in terms of sales on the Switch.
Good.
So that could mean,
I'm happy to hear that.
well, it should mean more projects and products coming from them for Switch in the future, which to me, I instantly think Borderlands. I instantly think BioShock.
Yeah.
These are like
Yeah.
either compilations or new games that I would love to see come to Switch at some point.
Mhm.
And then
It-
there's always the Rockstar stuff. There's a whole catalog there of stuff that would work. You bring any GTA game you want to the Switch. You could bring Red Dead 1. Yeah. They already brought LA Noire to the Switch, so
yeah.
there's so much stuff that could come out of this.
It doesn't surprise me that Civ 6 was successful on the Switch.
It
I remember
surprised me a little.
Well, I
Why do you say
remember
that?
when touchscreen gaming was becoming a thing. Essentially, when you have things like the Microsoft Surface and some of the other tablets that had like real power, that were effectively computers with a touchscreen. And Civilization was one of the first games that I saw someone play with a touchscreen, and it worked really well just
Okay.
because of the type of game it is. It's a turn-based strategy.
Yep.
You get plenty of time to think about what you're doing, so it's not like it's going to be, if you have a laggy touchscreen, oh no.
Right.
Like, you're just going to have to, like, be a little bit more careful about how you press things. But, like, and I think that they built the game specifically with that in mind to some degree, or they, worked on that functionality.
Yeah, yeah.
So it doesn't surprise me that the Switch was able to, I guess, be a successful platform.
Yeah.
So I'm glad to see that gamers in general have agreed.
It's encouraging.
Yeah.
I like it. You guys want to talk about Fortnite? Zach's not here, so I can't believe I'm doing this. But this, I think we can chime in on this even
Yeah.
without him. There was a big event in Fortnite.
Yes.
Scott, you want to take this?
I mean, why? Because
you're the EDM guy.
I'm the EDM guy.
Yeah,
Marshall-
Also,
exactly.
because I've been talking for like 10 minutes.
Dan needs a rest
It's
over
all
there.
good. So yeah, on Saturday, Marshmello actually did a concert in Fortnite, and it was a way bigger deal than we all kind of thought it was going to be.
So they preempted this. It wasn't just a surprise thing that happened.
Yeah,
we knew it was coming.
We kind of knew it was coming from like different sources and stuff like that.
Okay.
But he had two different shows on Saturday, and you would get in the game, and there was a stage that was set up, like a stage where if you went to a big EDM event, like the kind of stuff that you would see, and
Yeah.
he played in a set which. Come to find out, it wasn't a pre-recorded set. He was doing it live.
That's really cool.
So he did it live.
It was only 10 minutes long.
It was only 10 minutes long, so it wasn't like a massive thing. But there was no. They disabled killing, so you couldn't kill anyone during the event or anything
Okay.
like that.
Were they still on the map, or was it?
Yeah,
like
it was on the map.
Really,
It was
They
like
just
on the
dropped
map.
the stage in there. So,
Yep.
so if you were in a game, did you have to go find the
Yeah,
stage?
it was like it was Paradise something. I don't remember
Okay.
exactly what the name of it is, but
Their events just get crazier and
yeah,
crazier
but this
all
was
the time.
like this is kind of one of those things. Like, are we going to start seeing more of this kind of stuff from Fortnite? Because this wasn't like Fortnite has their events in the past where they've had like their different seasons and the maps have changed, and like the cube or the floating islands and stuff like that, and those were really big events.
Yep.
But this wasn't something that affected the map or gameplay at all. This was just an event that
not
was
even a
in
game.
the game. Yeah.
Yeah.
So are we going to start seeing like different celebrities?
I
Because a
don't know-
lot of celebrities play this game.
Yeah, I don't know
So-
if they could ever recapture the initial impact that something like this had.
Maybe not.
You know what I
This
mean?
is the first time. It was almost
So
like
different.
almost like a social experiment in a
Yeah,
way.
big
you
time.
know? But
They estimated that 10 million players watched it.
yeah, so that's a ton of people. And I actually saw from an EDM news site that I follow that he actually gained a ton of new people who listen to his music, follow him on Twitter, on Instagram, and stuff like that. And we're talking about like in the millions.
Yeah, that's
of
crazy.
people who started following him.
He was at the Game Awards last year, wasn't he? Wasn't he? Didn't he perform?
No, he wasn't
I don't know
at
where
the
I got
awards.
that. Okay.
I don't know. I know he played with Ninja during their like E3
Okay.
Fortnite event.
So this all came out of him being himself a big Fortnite fan.
Yeah. Yep.
And then he probably got in touch with Epic, or they got in touch with him and said, "Let's do something."
Yep, exactly.
It's real
So
cool.
it kind of just goes to show, like, how everyone's like, oh, when is Fortnite gonna die and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
realistically, like, if they do things like this, I don't see it ever really happening.
Yeah, they
They're-
have been so proactive with doing new and interesting things
Yeah.
with their game model
That's why
that it's in no danger of becoming stale.
Yeah.
that's why PUBG is honestly fallen off the map, because they
Yeah.
didn't really do anything.
Well,
I mean,
and
I think-
Fortnite's not just adding guns or maps or mechanics. They're completely changing the way you look at this game with
Exactly.
every one of their
And-
events.
And I think that that's kind of true in general of games that are sort of their living games, right? Things that they're not intended to die anytime soon. You know,
Yeah.
this isn't a game that someone's going to make a sequel to down the road. When you look at League of Legends and Dota 2,
I know
both-
we always talk about MOBAs,
both
but
of
this
those-
is legitimate.
Yeah, but like both of those companies are like, okay, let's make events. Like, let's build something around this game and not just the game.
Yeah.
And they
Right?
change all the time. New patches come out, new champs, new heroes get added to the game.
But like
meta
it's,
shift.
It's very much like there's community investment to some degree or another.
Yeah.
And I think that's where a lot of titles that are trying to become, esports titles, that's what they're trying to capture. But I don't know that there's a lot of room in the esports space, I guess, to make a game that builds a community just around that. And that's where something like Fortnite, I think, is maybe showing the next step of like, okay, well, Fortnite, maybe it has esports potential, like
Yeah.
that's a thing, but they're not stopping there. They're doing stuff like this. They're saying, hey, Fortnite's fun. You guys all like Fortnite.
Yeah.
We like that about
We
you guys.
like
So
Fortnite.
here's a concert for you. Like
Yeah.
that's
really cool. So I have to applaud them. I have to applaud Epic Games. I know I've been on the hate train for Fortnite for so long, but after kind of seeing the whole game evolve, I'm not going to play it, but it has definitely kind of swayed my perception of them from just being like this crappy game that 5-year-olds play to almost
Yeah.
being a breathing community.
And if nothing else, they're at least for now attracting all of the toxic 14-year-olds away
Yes.
from Dota 2 and League. So
Oh, it's fantastic. No, he's absolutely right.
everything's so much better.
I just
Yeah, it's
looked
great.
something up.
It's not great, but it's better.
Sorry, you're right. My bad.
You guys want to know how many people watched the Super Bowl? What the viewership was like for the Super Bowl?
Did you actually
this year,
watch the Super
2019?
Bowl? Because I can tell
No,
you,
but
with the way the game was played, probably not a lot.
Yeah, no, you're right. That was part of it, but I was curious, like, how does something like this compare to what is maybe one of the biggest live events in America? And looks like this year about 100 million people watch the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So we're talking a tenth of the people that watch the Super Bowl in this random little impromptu event in Fortnite.
For 10 minutes.
And
Yeah.
I mean, advertising is huge at the Super Bowl. I hate
Yeah.
to insinuate that at some point stuff like this, stuff like Fortnite, could be used to
Oh, absolutely.
get eyes on advertisements, but it's going to turn into that maybe if they continue going down this
I mean,
road. If it doesn't, hats off to them. That's really cool that they want to preserve what it is.
I'm sure it's only a matter of time.
It's gotta be,
I
right?
mean, how many different games have cosmetics that you can buy at this point?
Yeah.
So at what point do we have cosmetics branded by Coke?
Yeah.
I mean, they've actually already had some.
Yeah.
But like, what about
Samsung did a special skin for Fortnite.
Yeah.
it.
Stuff like that.
What if companies are paying for billboards around this concert venue, this digital concert venue in the
that?
game?
I mean,
okay,
that-
that's true.
I would not be surprised to see something like that. And I think
Yeah.
actually PUBG did something like that. Not advertisement, but they had some graphics in their game that you could see on walls somewhere. I think that was PUBG. Maybe it was Fortnite, but
Yeah.
something like that, where it's like there's the game, but then there's also stuff in the game that's pointing you to something that's happening.
Sure.
Not in your game, but like in real life.
Anywhere
or something.
large numbers of people are congregating, marketing companies are naturally looking at it and trying to figure out what they can do to manipulate it.
Money.
Just a thought. I hope it doesn't turn into that. It's cynical, but
I mean,
it's likely.
if it does, I hope that the game developers who sit in between advertisement and their game environment find a good way to implement it.
Right, yeah.
Because I don't want to tell someone, oh, don't advertise in your game, don't earn money for this because it will mess up my experience. If it doesn't have to, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it can be tactfully done for sure. A game came out this week, you guys.
Yeah.
Speaking of battle royale games,
Yes, I heard about this.
a game was just stealth dropped out of nowhere. It seemed Apex Legends.
Yeah.
This game is made by Respawn Entertainment, the guys behind Titanfall, ex Call of Duty developers, and it's doing some interesting things with the battle royale formula. I didn't get a chance to play it. I don't think you guys did either.
No, I read about it a little bit.
Yeah.
I watched gameplay of it.
Okay, cool. So
Yep.
you'll be able to speak to it a little bit. So it's 60-player matches.
Yep.
There's 8 like hero units you can choose from. They're called legends, and then you pick a unit, you pick a hero, and then join a 3-man squad. So it's a whole bunch of 3-man squads duking it out.
Yeah.
So there's like this whole build a good solid teamwork.
Right. And so I think the major
Foundation.
factor here is the idea of a class going into it. I'm not aware of another battle royale game taking that approach yet.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I mean,
but also
typically everyone walks in as a blank slate and you pick things up as you go.
yeah.
So yeah, the class thing is interesting.
There's been squad-based battle royales. I mean,
Yeah,
they all at least
they
have
all
a squad
that.
option.
There's
but-
usually a squad mode and then like a solo player mode.
Right, okay. But yeah, this is like the primary mode is you're building a 3-man
okay.
squad. So you're kind of building a group that works well together and fighting other groups that
Yeah.
are, functioning the same way. So that's cool approach to the battle royale formula.
Yeah, another thing that I read about this. So Titanfall 3 has been kind of anticipated for a while, and it has come to light that this game was developed as a replacement for Titanfall 3. And I think what I read is that one of the developers said that Titanfall 3 was not quite coming together the way they wanted it to, in part because they were still working on the same engine from 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And so what they realized, okay, so this isn't going to work for us, so let's put off Titanfall 3 for now until we have a little better technology. And what do we do with, this development team? And that's where Apex Legends comes in.
Yep. Vince Zampella, the CEO of Respawn Entertainment, was talking a little bit about Titanfall on Twitter recently. And he said that, like you said, 3 is not currently in the works, but we are getting a Titanfall game later this year. Don't know what it is.
It's a mobile game.
They said it's going to be a crazy experiment in the Titanfall universe.
It's a mobile game.
So maybe it's not a first-person shooter. Maybe it's... Who knows what
Yeah.
it could be. Yeah, so I
That'd be
like...
interesting.
We've talked about this before. I like the idea of a studio taking an existing franchise and doing something drastically different with it. A different gameplay style, different setting, different whatever. Just like kind of shaking up what's already there and giving you a different perspective on it. So hopefully they do something cool with that. But this is something different entirely. Hang on.
What? Is this in the doc?
I'm clicking around and talking, and it's not really working.
Yeah.
Okay, so 1 million players played this game in the first 8 hours, which
Yeah.
I think is a pretty big number. Obviously, stuff like Fortnite is leaps and bounds beyond any of this. But this,
Yeah,
they
but if
didn't-
Fortnite would have dropped out of nowhere,
right? They
I
didn't
don't
really.
think they would have hit that.
They didn't announce this in advance. I think they gave us like 2 days notice that this was coming out and said you can go download it now. It's free to play. Within the first day, they hit 2.5 million players. The peak was 600,000 concurrent players. So it sounds like a lot of people have jumped in to check it out. I wish one of us could have played some of it to talk about it. You said you watched some of it, Scotty?
Yeah, I did.
What'd you take away from that?
It looks a lot like Titanfall. You feel the Titanfall
Minus the giant
aspect,
robots?
minus the giant
Okay.
robots. But I watched Shroud play the game a little bit, and it looks really cool because each different legend has its like kind of unique abilities. You do the same thing where you're gathering materials once you drop, and you kill people, they drop their loot, you can pick it up if you want. It looked like it was a lot of fun. a lot of the
So
powers
there
and
is
stuff kind of added
there's
to it.
like guns laying around and stuff. You
Yeah,
can pick up and use.
I believe so.
Okay.
There's like rifts and stuff like that I got from it, where you can like teleport from place to place.
Titanfall was very much about like really fast, fluid movement, getting around the map quickly.
That's exactly what this is.
So
too.
that could feel really good in a game like
Yep.
this, I think,
And
especially with a big, huge battle royale map.
Yeah, there's even like some abilities that let you do that whole like sprinting maneuver and just kind of outmaneuvering your opponents. So it looked really cool. And I think, what time was it? I think it was around 5. So 5 or 6, which is a pretty kind of big streaming time for Twitch. It was above Fortnite.
Oh, okay.
It was above Fortnite.
I mean, it's
by
brand
a
new,
lot.
so not too surprising.
I mean, yes and no.
Maybe a lot of Fortnite players jumped in to check it out.
Probably a
Like
lot
the
of.
big
I know a lot
streamers.
of PUBG players did. But I can tell you that you're not wrong that it's a new game.
Mm-hmm.
But even Kingdom Hearts didn't pass Fortnite, I don't believe.
Yeah.
So that kind of puts it in perspective.
Kingdom Hearts is more niche than.
But it was
Yeah,
still
you need a
lot of
better
us would
example than
think.
that.
it was still a game that was 13 years in development versus a game that launched 2 days after being tweeted about. To be fair,
Rebuttal. Good one. That was
it's
excellent.
about
I mean, Titanfall was a popular game too.
yeah.
It's also an
it's a-
online shooter versus like an RPG.
It's a
totally different.
It's a battle royale game. Is essentially where I'm getting at. With
Yeah.
Why it was so crazy that a battle royale game beat Fortnite in viewership.
Yeah.
Maybe that's not the case for a long time,
I think,
but
I guess I have expressed my hesitancy, but you're right. It is still impressive, regardless of like how believable it is that it would happen. Like, it is impressive that a game was able to attract that much attention like that.
yeah, in 2 days.
Yeah.
Because exactly what you said. Like if Fortnite was to do that when it first came out, maybe it might not have been as popular.
right.
So it
I didn't catch how this game is monetized. Did you guys catch that?
No.
I'm guessing cosmetics. That
Yes.
would make the most sense.
It's loot box kind of esque.
Okay.
It's EAS type stuff.
and
but
they'll probably do skins and whatnot. I'm
They
guessing
do.
like the typical hero shooter.
I think of it in the way of Overwatch when it comes to their loot box system.
That is exactly what the article
Yep.
says. Actually.
It's all cosmetic based. It has nothing to do. You don't unlock different characters, so it doesn't take you 60 hours to unlock all the heroes.
Okay.
All the loot box stuff is all. If you want to pay for it, you can, and if you do, you're just getting cosmetic stuff. It has nothing to do about the game.
Yep.
So
All right. Cool.
Yep.
We'll have to keep our eyes on this one, see how it develops. Dan, haha, we got you to talk about an EA game.
Yeah.
Served. You got served.
I may have my ethical reservations about supporting EA.
Give it a couple
I'm
weeks.
I'm not unwilling to talk about it.
Hey, this game's entirely free if you choose to play it that way. You could really stick it to them by playing their products for
Yeah.
free and not
Really-
giving them your money.
really dig the knife in, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll
Kidding,
see.
Of course.
We'll
I
see.
don't think you'll jump on this one.
Okay,
probably,
so
right?
you're gonna have to give me some background on this next thing.
It's weird, right?
because the title that I'm reading here,
It's intentionally sensationalist. Go for
Xbox
it.
Live is coming to Nintendo Switch.
I saw that. Yeah.
It's the
I
weirdest
saw
thing,
that.
right? Yeah.
Like-
I mean, it's kind of just what it sounds like.
So
And I
it
mean,
needs to get on the
I
ball.
read the article that you linked, but like, what?
Yeah, I know. It's bizarre. Well, there's been like traces of Xbox Live already implemented in Switch because of Minecraft and on mobile platforms because of Minecraft. When you play Minecraft on Switch, you actually have to log into a Microsoft Xbox account.
Interesting.
Yeah. So that part's not unheard of, but they're actually talking about bringing like all of Xbox Live to Switch minus the Xbox games. So like achievements,
Why?
managing your friends lists, your history of games, and they say multiplayer abilities. I guess that's referring to stuff like playing games like Minecraft that are owned by Xbox on
That's really
Switch.
cool. Honestly, I think that's really cool. This is
Yeah.
Microsoft is earning some points with me for this one.
We're looking at some levels of collaboration between
yeah.
the big competitors that we've never seen before.
I mean, this is big.
Sony.
It's crazy.
Sony.
I don't know that
Where are
this
you guys?
means in any near-term future you'll ever see Halo on Switch or
No, but
Mario
like-
on Xbox. But
I mean, I think that's cool, right? Because already, if I were to get Xbox Live on my computer, there are things that gets me already. So now, if the Switch is added into that, and I guess Android,
yeah,
like right there. That's 3 devices that I already have.
Well, I have
That-
another way of looking at this too. For I guess like 6 to 8 years, I was an Xbox guy, which sounds crazy, right? 360, almost the entire 360 generation. I was playing
Yeah.
almost everything on Xbox 360. So I have like 30, 40,000 achievements that are just completely meaningless. But it's kind of cool to go back and look through all the games I played on that list and look through all the achievements I earned and just, marvel in how much time I spent playing these games, which I don't know that I'll ever own another dedicated Xbox console. So a way to
Right.
see that stuff elsewhere might be kind of cool for me.
Do you want to borrow my Xbox One?
No, I just sold one recently.
Oh,
actually.
yikes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I own an Xbox One for a while.
I still have
Didn't
mine.
play a
It's
whole lot of
collecting
it.
dust now.
Yeah.
It's pretty sad.
Yeah, I really like seeing this level of collaboration. Obviously,
Yeah.
Sony's nowhere to be found. They're off doing their own thing.
Yeah, they don't
and
wanna have
it's
any
because
part
they're
of
on
this.
they're on top of the world right now.
Yeah.
So they feel like they don't really need
They
to
need to
be
get knocked down a
involved
couple
in this.
pegs.
Yeah, well,
It
this is-
happens every couple generations. We're gonna
That's
see.
true.
Yeah, Microsoft. I know that like sometimes they're at some points in our history they've been kind of the big bad guy in some ways anyway, right?
Yeah.
And I consistently I hear about things like this where I question that sort of like gut reaction type of thing.
Do you remember the Xbox One launch, Dan?
It was awful.
No.
It was the most expensive console on the market. It was $499 or $599, depending on the
Right.
bundle. They forced you to buy a Kinect with it.
Yeah.
Which, in hindsight, it's just hilarious because the Kinect is nobody's said that word in 3 years. I'm the first person to say it in the past
Yeah.
3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have one still.
They were talking about this DRM that would not allow you to resell games after you installed
Yeah.
them on your system. They were doing a lot of really, really
Anti-consumer stuff.
yeah, exactly. Right at the beginning of this generation, that was only 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah.
So to see this kind of growth and willingness to move beyond themselves,
embracing the community in a way.
yeah.
But it's like other stuff too, though. Like they have, they develop a controller for, what's it called?
The adaptive controller.
The adaptive controller
for people
who
with
have-
physical limitations.
Yeah, and it's like it's big, and I've seen accounts from people who have physical disabilities that really like the adaptive controller.
Yep.
That
Yep.
it's not just like something that they threw out there for like good PR, but it's something that they actually put thought into developing. And
I
like,
mean, maybe
making for
maybe
people.
PR had a little.
The packaging for the adaptive controller
Yeah.
is built in such a way that you don't need help to open it.
Yeah. Oh, really cool.
Yeah, like that level of thought went into this thing.
Okay. Well, I'll take that.
And they're
Yeah.
obviously not making money on it. That is surely a gesture of goodwill.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to sell a ton of those things, but it's awesome that
They
it's
did
allowing
it.
some people to play that wouldn't be able to play otherwise.
Yeah. So
Good
like
for Microsoft.
Have you seen it?
Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah. It looks like a DJ Hero.
It kind of
The
does.
DJ thing.
Did you play DJ Hero?
No, I always wanted to though.
I can't believe you didn't.
No.
It's right up your alley, man.
Look,
It's
I haven't always
fun.
been into EDM, and back
Okay.
when that game came out, I wasn't really.
It's not too
into it.
late. Do you have a 360 or PS3 laying around?
I just sold
or
one
a
360.
Wii. Yeah, okay, maybe it's too late for
Yeah,
you.
exactly. My bad.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
well.
all right. That's all right. Do you guys like Screw Attack?
Yes.
I don't have a ton of frame of reference for the history of Screw Attack. Do you want to tell us a little bit about who they are?
You asked me if I like Screw Attack.
Oh,
You didn't
okay.
tell me if I knew the history of Screw Attack.
My frame of reference for Screw Attack is Angry Video Game Nerd.
Yeah.
So I know that they've partnered with a lot of really cool content creators and brought a lot of cool content to YouTube. And they used to be part of Rooster Teeth, right?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
what I was gonna say. When I think of Screw Attack, I think of Rooster Teeth.
Yeah.
So because they kind of coexisted for a while.
Yeah.
Until Rooster Teeth became super massive and kind of broke away from that.
Yeah.
And became their own company. But
So they're shutting down, or they're at least rebranding.
Sad.
Screw Attack is now. Oh, I didn't even write down what they became. Battle something.
oh, cool.
The Death Battle channel.
The Death Battle channel. What is Death
The-
Battle? Is that one of
the
their shows
Death
or
Battle.
original?
It started in 2010. It became the dominant program on their channel.
Okay.
And it changed the direction of their brand, I guess. I'm reading an article.
Okay, so they're narrowing focus and shifting to one particular piece of content instead of kind of
Yeah.
this umbrella that brought a lot of different content to YouTube. So a lot of people reached out on Twitter and expressed their memories and their sadness to see Screw Attack go because they've apparently made a lot of cool stuff over the years.
They've been around for a long time,
Yeah,
like almost as long as like Newgrounds.
that's wild.
Yeah, they've been around for a really, really long time. A lot of they were kind of the predominant reason that gaming YouTubers kind of got a chance.
Okay.
Because they would like put them in their blog posts or something like that. So like for example, one of my favorite YouTubers, Peanut Butter Gamer, got like kind of his big break from Screw Attack because he made a video and they saw the video and they're like, we're going to put you on our front page. And
Oh, cool.
Kind of blew it. Kind of it got him on the right foot to make a YouTube career out of it. But yeah, they've been around for a really, really long time. So it is sad to see them go because I really enjoy them. I mean, it's one of those things that you grew up with this company, but you kind of start to forget, almost like Machinima.
Right.
Like, I don't know if you remember Machinima.
Yeah, sure.
But Machinima is like where you found all your like YouTube comedy and stuff like that. And I believe Red versus Blue was on Machinima for a bit. And they don't do anything anymore. Their YouTube channel is all privated.
That's wild.
So, it's kind of crazy because Machinima, still has its 10 million plus subscribers, and it's just sitting there.
Yeah.
So it used to be one of the most subscribed channels of all time,
Yeah.
and now it's just a wasteland.
We've talked recently about the changes YouTube has undergone
Yeah.
over the years and how it's kind of shifted focus from favoring small independent content creators.
Look, I'm gonna stop you right there.
We don't have
because-
to get into that. I'm just saying, do you think something like this is a byproduct of the changes of video content
Yeah,
over the years?
absolutely.
Oh, for sure.
YouTube,
Yep.
Twitch. There's a
'Cause
lot more competition out there.
You got to
obviously.
remember that a ton of Machinima's content was never above 10 minutes. It was like 2 or 3 minute short, funny videos.
Yeah, I appreciate
And
that.
YouTube isn't like that anymore. If you don't make a 10-minute long video, you're not going to get paid.
Hey, look at Donkey, man. He's rocking the 3-5 minute videos,
I mean, yeah, but
and they're all gold.
he's also been doing it for a long,
Yeah,
long
he's
time.
got it down to
So
art.
he,
It's true.
when Donkey videos comes out, they're almost guaranteed to get millions of plus views.
Yeah,
and everyone's gonna
within
see
the
them.
first day or two.
Yeah, so Donkey's kind of been able to sneak under that radar of YouTube algorithm changes. But
Gotcha.
I know, yeah, we did have a conversation about this, which we were going to talk about on the podcast, and we just never really got around to it because
Yeah.
we wanted to involve Dan in it too.
Yeah,
kind of.
that could almost be a whole show.
It could be.
We've talked a show's worth
You
at
know-
work about this.
And I would love to take part. I actually don't know that much. I hardly watch YouTube.
Okay.
It's one of those things that like people around me do and people talk about it, so I'm aware of a lot of it, but that's about it.
Yeah.
Essentially, kind of where the conversation got sparked is, did you heard? I'm sure you heard about the whole YouTube rewind last year, where it became like the most disliked video of all time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's
you
kind of
were all mad at Will Smith.
I wasn't mad at Will Smith. I was mad at like how YouTube went from basically being about its creators to being about its sponsors. And that's kind of where our conversation got started. We won't talk about it now because we have like 4 minutes left. But I
Right.
think some week we should talk about kind of how YouTube has gone from this creator-based content to basically tread lightly or you won't get paid.
Yeah. It's a
Food for thought.
it's a big complicated topic that
We should
would
absolutely
be a lot of
hit.
fun.
Yeah,
We should do a little research too
We should,
before
yeah.
so we can actually talk data.
absolutely. Well, hey, we're
Okay.
coming up at the end here, and you
Yeah.
know how we said we wouldn't have a question?
Uh-huh.
I do.
Did you come up with one?
I did.
Yeah,
and
buddy.
This question is actually, it kind of has to do with our first topic about like, you know how you were saying how advertisements, getting advertisers are part of like Fortnite and stuff like that, and
Right.
how it hasn't really happened. Well, this is a question all solely based on video games and advertisements.
Oh, that's fun. Okay.
So
I'm anxious for
the
this.
question is what was the release date of Pepsiman?
Pepsi Man.
Pepsiman is infamous for being a pretty okay PlayStation game.
The release date of Pepsi Man.
Yeah.
You see, my mind goes back further when it comes to co-branded cola video game mascots. I think
Yeah.
of Spot.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That
yeah, yeah.
Cool
actually-
Spot.
Cool
Yeah.
spot. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking of that one too.
There's an
but
illustrious history here.
I
between-
was thinking of that one, but I think Pepsi Man's a little more well known, so that's kind of why I went with him instead.
I was thinking that game is Spot the Cool Adventure. I don't know
Oh,
if that's the actual name, but
No,
I just
it's called
remember-
Cool Spot, but I remember your little story about that.
yeah,
One of your
Spot the
buddies
Cool
just
Adventure.
called it that.
Yep.
I mean, it was a cool adventure. Spot's the main character, so
Yeah.
I get the connection there. I'm just gonna go on my.
If you want to just go, you don't have to go with the month and day, but kudos if
was
you
this
do.
like a full
but
price game? Did they actually put this,
this was
thing
a
on
game
shelves?
on the PlayStation. Yeah.
It wasn't like you got it free at McDonald's with a Happy Meal kind of thing. I wonder.
I'd have to look for sure.
All right, I
but-
think this game came out in Do you want a date or just a year?
You can just give me a year.
I'm thinking.
If you want to throw a date at my face,
Yeah.
you can.
I think 1999
Okay.
is my guess.
I'm gonna go with 1997.
Okay.
That was the year, Dan. So much great stuff happened in
Yeah.
'97.
Although I'll be honest, I had to Google PlayStation launch date
Oh, you
to make
punk.
sure that I wasn't
Oh,
gonna
wow.
guess something dumb.
It was September '96.
Nope.
Dang it. Was it?
December 3, 1994. Actually.
What the heck?
It was the year I was born.
Came out in '94.
Isn't that crazy?
PlayStation was
94.
out before the Nintendo 64. All right,
Who
I'm,
knew?
I'm losing it.
September 95 in North America.
Oh, okay, cool.
That's fair.
That makes it slightly more sense.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey,
Cool.
you know
Good
what?
question.
Absolutely.
Can't wait to hear more about it.
Well, I'm excited to tell you the answer next week.
Okay, sounds good.
But hey, guys, do not forget to check us out on our social medias: Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, and the big one is iTunes at Video Game Pharmacy.
We're back on YouTube as well.
Yes, back on YouTube, posting our podcast there as well. So don't forget to check us out. Give us a rating and a like
Some
on
likes,
iTunes.
some subscribes,
Yes.
some reviews, some ratings.
Yes.
All of it would be
Throw it at
wonderful.
our face. Just
Please
throw
do.
It, just throw it at us. And a big thanks to NWCC Radio, as always, for letting us use you guys' studio. We love your
Thank
faces.
This place is great.
you.
And we love all of you guys as well. So from Brittin,
Yep.
Dan,
Yo.
myself, Scott, and then Zach in spirit, we will see you guys next week. Bye-bye.
Later.
Bye.
Later.
Bye.
Later.
The pharmacy is now closed.